Hey everyone, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Borla S-Type dual rear exit exhaust with the quad black chrome tips, fitting 2019 and newer 6.2 liter Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500s. If you're looking for a high quality exhaust system that produces a great sound without a ton of overwhelming volume for your Silverado or Sierra, Borla has got you covered here. This is going to appeal to you if you want your truck to make some more noise, but you aren't willing to sacrifice your eardrums or give an inch on quality. Now on our loudness meter, this one is going to get a 3 out of 5. So if you're looking for outright volume, this probably is not your system. However, it's still going to provide you with that deep, big block V8 rumble and an aggressive note, but it won't be as obtrusive as some other systems. So it's a great choice for a daily driven truck or just to give a little spice to that company hauler. Now, if you're not familiar with Borla's offerings, they have several different types of systems that vary in the type and the volume of sound. What we have here is effectively the middle child, the S-Type. So it's going to be a bit louder than the Touring, but it won't be quite as unhinged as the Attack system. And as you heard from the clips, it still sounds pretty good without being too obnoxious, but it's still got that characteristic Chevy big block V8 rumble coming out of that 6.2. It's a great sound, but it's not going to get people shaking their fists at you as you drive by. Now, inside the cab, of course, you're going to get some additional volume as well, but much like on the outside, it won't be too bad. Definitely noticeable, but it doesn't produce so much volume that you won't be able to hold a conversation or listen to music. And your passengers likely won't complain much either. So it's a good balance that will allow you to enjoy your new exhaust without feeling overwhelmed by it. And that's mostly because Borla takes great care to make sure their exhaust in such a way that there is no drone at any speed, in any gear, or at any RPM. So this is thanks to their unique polyphonic harmonizing technology. Now that sounds like a buzzword, but that's exactly the point. There's no buzz. So this is essentially the same type of science that goes into tuning pipe organs. So they use different lengths of pipe within the resonators or the mufflers to control different frequencies, so it eliminates obtrusive or dissonant sounds in the system. Now in this system, you've got a resonator right here, which you can maybe see there's a little cutout on this side to help with that. And inside of the muffler, you've got much the same thing. So in this system, they tend to be a little bit more hidden inside the casing of these things. So what that all means for you is that you're gonna get that really nice Chevy big block V8 burble. You're gonna hear a lot more of it. You've got some nice resonance in that muffler, and you've got the resonator there to help damp it down too. But it also means that you're not gonna get that annoying droning noise when you're cruising along like you might get with a less expensive or a system that isn't as well engineered. And that, in my eyes, is the most important part here, because it's gonna make this exhaust much more tolerable and it's gonna make it more fun for you to have on your truck. Now, finishing the whole thing off are these really cool 3.5-inch quad black chrome tips. So you get a dual set on each side, and these are just really nice. Now these are gonna take the place of your stock valance tips that are built into the bumper, and they add a really cool little bit of flair. It's not over the top, they're not too huge, but it's definitely something that the keen eye will notice. And if you ask me, it should have come this way from the factory. Now this same exhaust is also offered in a chrome tip version, which we do have available on our site, should you prefer that look. But if you're going for stealthy or you want that all blacked out look for your build, these are gonna be perfect for you. Now the eagle-eyed enthusiast may spot those tips first, but the real tip-off is gonna be when you fire the truck up and they get to hear it. Now, as far as construction goes, again, this is a really high quality system, as we expect to see from Borla. They make all of their exhausts out of T304 stainless steel, so you're going to get excellent corrosion and rust resistance here. And as you can see, it's just a nice looking piece of kit. The piping is all 3-inch mandrel bent tubing into the muffler with 2.75-inch tubing going back out to the tips. Now, there are no weird wrinkles or creases or anything in the metal here, so all the exhaust gases are gonna flow nice and smoothly through, which allows your engine to breathe better than the stock system. And of course, you've got those 3.5-inch quad black chrome tips to finish the whole thing off. Now, one other thing I wanna mention is that these tips do have what they call a ball joint setup on the end here. So you see this flare in the metal. It's a little bit different than what you find on most setups, because that means it's going to allow you to adjust these, not just back and forth, but up, down, and side to side, so you get the perfect placement in the cutouts in the bumper. Now, as with any Borla or other exhaust system of this quality, this one is not gonna come cheap. It's gonna run you about $2,000, so it does sit toward the upper end of the category as far as pricing goes, though it's not quite as spendy as some others. However, this is a premium product, and thus it commands a premium price. But overall, I think this does represent a good value for your money. You're getting a high quality exhaust system with solid construction, nice features, some cool tips, and a really great sound. Now you get what you pay for in most cases when it comes to exhaust, but it's worth spending a bit more on something like this Borla, especially if you put a lot of miles on your truck and you really want to avoid that drone we were talking about earlier. You also tend to get what you pay for when it comes to installation. We're going to give this one a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and it's definitely a job that you can be accomplished at home. You should expect it to take you about 2 hours to get everything wrapped up as well. Now the kit overall is pretty inclusive. However, I do say that with the caveat that if your truck happens to be a crew cab with the 6-foot 7-inch bed, you are going to need an adapter that Borla makes. Now we of course have them available on our website as well. And to remove your stock exhaust, you are going to need to make a cut to the stock system. But it is only one cut, and we'll show you how to do that, plus the rest of the install now as we hand things over to one of our AT customers.
All right guys, everything needed for this install includes a 3/8-inch socket, can be powered, a 13mm wrench, a screwdriver, a 10mm socket, 13mm socket, 13mm deep socket, 15mm deep socket, and a 3-inch extension. You will need a saw for this installation to cut off the old muffler assembly. Things that are not needed but help are an adjustable pliers, a swivel socket, 3/8 inch, 2 pry bars. The pry bars are in case a screwdriver does not work, but definitely not needed. All right guys, so step number 1 to this installation is going to be lubricating or using penetrating spray on your bolts on the factory system. The first bolt location is going to be on the driver's side rear tailpipe right here. The second location is going to be right above the rear differential. These 2 bolts on this flange, one on both sides. And the last one is going to be on the passenger side rear tailpipe. Make sure those are lubricated. Now removing the driver's side rear tailpipe bolt is a 15mm. Keep this as we'll be using it for reinstallation. Now we're going to be removing the second set of bolts located above the rear differential. This flange right here has 2 nuts, 13mm. You will need a deep socket, and I'm going to be using an extension for this video so we can go ahead and see them being removed. Now that we removed the 13mm bolts above the rear differential and the 15mm bolt holding on the rear tailpipe, we can go ahead and remove this rear section here. Go ahead and pull back to release it from that flange. Pull it towards the front of the pickup, down, and rotate it out. For the next part of this install, you're going to need a saw of some kind to go ahead and make a cut in front of the muffler here. This is towards the front of the vehicle. This is a valve or a flap right here, I believe. We're gonna make a cut right in front of that. Now we're going to remove the passenger side tailpipe 15mm bolt. Keep that bolt for later reinstallation. For this step, I'm going to be using an adjustable pliers to remove these 2 hangers that are hanging onto the rest of the muffler and passenger side rear tailpipe assembly. Make sure to use some lubricating spray. Before attempting this. And now the whole muffler assembly is free with that back tailpipe. You're gonna wanna be careful and bring it out towards the front of the vehicle. All right guys, now that you guys can see the muffler has dropped, the passenger rear side tailpipe is also dropped with it over here. Right now I just have it resting right over there on the rear axle. What I'm gonna do now is I'm actually going to make a cut right here. Now the Borla instructions don't say to do that, but it is so much simpler if you're doing this on the floor to just go ahead and cut it right after the muffler. It's a great tip, and just pull the muffler off. You could even do this before possibly dropping the hangers. I didn't think of that beforehand. Hindsight would be 10 times easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the saw just like we did before up front on the muffler. I'm gonna do it right here at the rear. There's one exhaust hanger left here on the factory exhaust towards the front of the vehicle. We're gonna wanna lubricate that up. Again, use the same method that we used before. Open channel lock pliers here and possibly a screwdriver or a pry bar to get that off. Make sure to use some lubrication. The last part in removing your factory exhaust system is removing the pipe that was before the muffler that we had cut. We want to use a 13mm open-ended wrench and loosen the bolt up here on this clamp. This will remove any kind of force between the front of the exhaust system on the pickup and this pipe. We want to go ahead and tug on this pipe until it pulls out. The clamp will come with. The first step in installing your new Borla exhaust system is putting the old clamp on the front pipe, as noted up here. We're gonna leave it on there, and I orientated it this way so it's easier for us to tighten. You wanna go ahead and put it up underneath the vehicle, the front pipe, and you will see the first clamp that it should be meeting. I recommend using some kind of lubricating oil. To make it easier to go in. We then want to move over to the front of the pipe and use a 13mm and tighten the two pipes together. And for right now, we're going to leave it semi-loose so that way we can make adjustments later on towards the back of the vehicle. We now want to go ahead and put a clamp on the front exhaust pipe and have the front muffler slide over top. We'll want to go ahead and tighten this clamp down, but leave it somewhat loose so we can adjust the rear part of the exhaust system later. Now towards the rear of the front muffler, we want to go ahead and install the rear muffler. Go ahead and put a clamp on the rear muffler itself and slide it over top the front muffler. Again, we're going to tighten this down, but leave it somewhat loose. The next part of the install is taking the included Y pipe with the Borla exhaust and put a clamp over it. We want to swing it up over the differential. And go ahead and push up your mufflers. And slide over the Y pipe. After you install the Y pipe onto the rear muffler, we're going to want to go ahead and install the Y pipe onto the two hangers. Now that we have our Y pipe installed towards the front there, what we're going to do is take the passenger side rear tailpipe and go ahead and take the bracket off of the old tailpipe, put it on the new one. Go ahead and make sure it finds its home up here. There is a slot up there that finds its home. Go ahead and thread in the bolt. And go ahead and give that a snug. Go ahead and lift the rear passenger tailpipe up. Make sure you have a clamp over it. Go ahead and slide it over top of our Y piece. All the way up in there until she's snug. And we're gonna go ahead and tighten the clamp so she is snug, but still a little bit loose, so we can make minor adjustments. So then you guys wanna go ahead and put another clamp over top of the Y pipe and take the driver's side crossover tube. Go ahead and feed it up to the Y pipe. And slide it on all the way. And go ahead and tighten that clamp up snug, but not too tight, so we can go ahead and move this around and put our tips on. Now we're gonna go ahead and install the last driver's side exhaust pipe. We're gonna want to go ahead and put a clamp on the crossover tube and put the mounting bracket that we took off the stock exhaust and put it on the hanger spot here. We're then gonna want to go ahead and mount it up with the bolt. Go ahead and tighten that down. Go ahead and slide this back. Slide in our pipe, like so. We can go ahead and down and tighten down our clamp here. Not too tight, as we still got to install the tips. Gives us a little bit of maneuverability here, and should be good to go. Next, we want to remove the factory tips. Here I have a Milwaukee ratchet. You can actually just use a hand ratchet. It does take a 10mm bolts. There's 2 of them on the top inside here, behind this metal bracket, and between the bumper itself, and then a 10mm up top here. It's easier to go ahead and use a Milwaukee ratchet or something of that kind, but yeah, let's get at it. I'm gonna go ahead and remove one there. I'm going to then go ahead and put a 3-inch adapter on with a 10mm. Get this top one out. So. And then what you can do for this last one on the inner side for both, on the inner side towards the trailer hitch, is you can actually just rotate this like so. Kind of slowly bend it down. These tabs will not be reused, and you can just bend the tabs back up once you bend them down. And that is your factory tips removed. Repeat the same thing on the other side, and you can go ahead and just bend this tab back up with the pliers or something, and they will not be reused. We'll be putting on our tips. Now take your half moon clamps and slide it over the tailpipe. Take your new Borla exhaust tips and slide them in. Use a 13mm to snug up the clamp. And repeat on the other side, and we will tighten all clamps up and make sure that the tips are where we want them to be.
So that is going to wrap up our review and install of the Borla S-Type dual rear exit exhaust with the quad black chrome tips, fitting 2019 and newer 6.2-liter Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra 1500s. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things Silverado and Sierra, be sure to stick with us right here at AmericanTrucks.com.